Welcome back to another Stock Market Open Live. Today we have, well, quite frankly, what looks like more AI joys. You've got SMCI. Oh my gosh, the server rack company, it is happening. They are joining the S&P 500. And boy, oh boy, people are really enthused about that one. Not very enthused about Apple getting fined over $1 billion for, monopolistic practices and music licensing. Nobody cares about that one. Other than the fact that people were going to sell that stock. Apple now down 1.5% on that fine. But what's really entertaining is Super Microcomputer. Let's jump into Super Microcomputer, up 15% in the pre-market on S&P 500 inclusion. Woo! I want to say when Tesla got included in the S&P 500, I'm pretty sure that is when the stock almost peaked out. On November 17th, 2020, Tesla was added to the S&P 500. And if we go to the week chart on Tesla, you go back to December 2020. That'd be over here. You'd be about $288. So not necessarily the top. I actually still had some room to go. Okay, never mind then. But certainly way higher than where it is today. So here's Super Micro for you on the week chart. Wow. Here it is on the day chart. And it's about to spike up to 1050. So we're about to have a green candlestick that goes pretty much to all-time highs. Nice. Wow. Okay. So the AI revolution will continue, and you're either part of it or you're not. Jeez, it's brutal how extreme the divergences between artificial intelligence and AI adjacent stocks is versus sort of your more run-of-the-mill daily kind of stocks or cyclical stocks. Anyway, taking a peek here, New York Community Bank trying to pop up about 6% here in pre-market on trading, despite the 25% drop last week. You've got Dell up 31% on Friday, and that New York Community Bank drop, that was all just on Friday. 31% on Dell on just Friday. Basically flat here in the pre-market. Looking at just pre-market movers here, SMCI clearly at the top, with Coinbase moving up as well, up about 6.4%. They had some issues last week, but those issues were related to glitches thanks to more demand, not like a problem. I mean, it is a problem, but let's put it this way. It's a good problem to have, right? So kind of phenomenal work by Coinbase. And Coinbase, as we know, moves with Bitcoin prices. Bitcoin presently stably above 65,000. Look at this movement here on Bitcoin. You are now knocking on the door of getting to all-time highs at 69,000. 69,000 is the goal. Well, that is also obviously the top. That's the 100% on our Fibby line. Things will get entertaining. Plus or minus that 69K. Are we going to get rejected? Are we going to keep going? Right now, it seems like the answer is yes. We'll probably keep going. Next stop, which will be really entertaining. Next stop after 69. Look at where that next Rizzy is. A lot of people talking, looking at that number there. And that is your 100,000 figure for Bitcoin. And if we can break the 69K, which we're barreling towards right now, well, you're basically there on a basic sort of Fibby retracement point of view, at least. So a lot to consider, and it's gonna be exciting and a roller coaster altogether. This week we've also got, this week politically could be really interesting. One of the first things we're looking for is the Supreme Court to potentially rule on Donald Trump's ballot case. Is he going to be allowed on the ballot or not? I actually, over at ehack.com, went through my full thesis on this. And you know me, my goal is to be as unbiased as possible. But when I say it, I know people think I'm being biased. But it's just my interpretation. But I think, and again, the whole breakdown of this is on ehack.com, but I think it's pretty obvious that Donald Trump is going to be allowed on the ballot. So that is going to happen probably today, but more likely this week. So we'll see. Then we have Super Tuesday on Tuesday, and that will probably also solidify Trump's lead. I know Nikki clinched D.C., but you know, that's D.C., and I don't know how much that really matters. And so then we've got Congress facing their partial shutdown by Friday. They do have a $435 billion funding package. Basically freezes spending, and it's expected to give a little bit more of a boost in spending to vets, but that's pretty much it. It's mostly a freeze other than that. Then the State of the Union occurs on Thursday, so we'll get to see Biden put on a performance. You've got so Super Tuesday on Tuesday, the Supreme Court, State of the Union Thursday. Jerome Powell testifies on Wednesday, which I'll have a full video up soon on expectations for the Fed and what I think is coming from the Fed. And then that's kind of wild for this week. Let's look at some of the economic expectations we have this week. This week, we are looking at, for tomorrow, we'll get services and composite PMIs. We'll get factory orders on the 5th. We'll get ISM, prices paid, and employment figures on the 5th. So a lot of data on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we'll get ADP, employment change, and JOLTS figures, which does mean it's a jobs week. Thursday, we'll get initial claims, and Friday, we'll get jobs numbers. So, needless to say, news this week is going to be absolutely freaking insane. The amount of news that we're going to get this week is going to be mind-blowing. So, buckle up. It's going to be a roller coaster. Let's listen to perform worse than Tesla. Oh, how do we even compare to that? But anyway, so, yeah, ouchies, wowchies probably coming here to Spirit Airlines. Do keep in mind that when the expectation was that the merger was going to fail, we did already get quite a bit of a drop priced in. This just solidifies the bad news. So really, the stock movement should just be a removal of hope, I'm guessing. We'll see. So whatever hope you have to unprice is probably the stock movement you're going to get. I guess it'll show us what the hopium's like. On the downside in the morning, we've got Tesla down 1.3. We've got Apple down 1.6. You've got NIO down 2.25. Carvana down 0.83. Walmart's down about 0.5%. And we have, to the upside again, Supermicro, New York Community Bank, Taiwan Semi up almost 4% in the pre-market on Taiwan Semi. Holy smokes. And you've got Enphase up about 1% in the pre-market. So that said, let's take a little bit of a Snoopy strolley through. JetBlue is paying a $69 million fee to whom? JetBlue will pay Spirit $69 million. Oh, okay. While the merger agreement was in effect, Spirit stockholders received about $425 million in prepayments. Oh, and they're getting a $69 worth of fee. Oh, wait. So is Spirit going to get to keep that money or not? Because that could actually help, this extra $69 million. Let's see here. We believe the merger was worth pursuing. We're proud of the work we did. Under the agreement, JetBlue will pay $69 million. Resolve all outstanding matters. Okay. To date, JetBlue has identified multiple near-term revenue initiatives for 2024, including increased distributions and partnerships, extended loyalty. JetBlue remains on track to deliver blah, blah, blah. Okay, well, 300. Let's just see how JetBlue is doing. Oh, JetBlue's actually up on this. How interesting. JetBlue's up about 6%. Kind of somewhat implies that markets actually didn't really want this deal to go through, this acquisition. Well, it would have probably diluted shareholders. They would have probably sold stock to make the deal happen. So that's probably why you have some excitement by the market here. Okay, so with that, let's see here. What else do we have? Citibank, top city banker. Oh, that is such a weird phrase. So are you a city banker Or are you a Citibank banker? We're going to have to let that one sink in a little bit. Okay, so well, what else do you have? So he says, firms, underwriters, and deal makers have seen a pickup in activity this year as corporate chiefs around the world have adjusted to higher interest rates. The Wall Street giant is beginning to see green shoots of merger and acquisition activity. Aha. Okay. And let's see here. If you look at the beginning of the year, it's been a very busy period, particularly in the debt markets. Recent flurry of activity is at odds with the dearth of deal making we've actually seen. Yeah, so somebody has hope that there'll be more deal making. Got it. All right, whatever. RIP. So that's going to bring it down to 538 in the pre-market. 538. I almost have to zoom into like the day chart here to really see this. Zoom in quite a bit. So 538, that's going to take you to right about here. So you get sort of a green candlestick that'll take you down to the low of Jan 29, but not of the low, unless it keeps moving down. Down about 17% now as trading has opened up. Ooh, there goes. Wait, didn't, what's his name? Portnoy. Portnoy bought a bunch, but didn't he buy around the $3 range? I think he actually, I can't remember when he bought Spirit Airlines, but I know he bought. Yeah, let's see, oh, okay. Oh, that's a rip. Dave Portnoy is making a big bet on Spirit Airlines. Let's see here. Barcelona, well, let's see here. 11:30 Thursday. January 18th. I just bought a ton of Spirit Airlines stock. I'm not a financial advisor, okay? So that was January, I think that was around this dip over here. 18th. Oh, that's great. It appears. That was this day. But look at the trading range that day. It opened at 953. Its low was 393 intraday. So it's really impossible to know where within this the buy was made. But, I don't know, a 13% drop in pre-market doesn't help either way. Okay, interesting. JetBlue up about 4%. And DWAC, Donald Trump's DWAC, is up 43. It does make you wonder. I wonder, like, the user... I would love to compare the user base difference between DWAC and Twitter. Because if you think about it, they've oddly become somewhat similar in being kind of the pedestal for one speaker, right? Like, one's for Elon Musk, one's for Donald Trump. I thought that was really entertaining to sort of just like speculate that comparison. And speculation is, I think, the correct word because obviously, you know, the SPACs, you know, or Truth Social is much newer, and there's still a lot of base outside of just Elon Musk over at X, whereas people joining Truth Social are probably just trying to interact with the president. But anyway, it was an interesting thought. We'll put it that way. All right. What else? Let's see here. Okay. So, let's see what the suits are saying. Global equity markets are not yet overbought, as they were through much of the 1990s on several measures. Wow. U.S. and many other stock markets continue in their seemingly inexorable ascent. Incessant rallies are often controversial, which is maybe one of the reasons they last longer than many expect, as higher becomes the pain trade. Regardless, if we look back at the 90s, at global markets, we can see they are less stretched now than they were back then, taking the percentage of MSCI country indices trading more than 2% above their trailing 10-month high. This was more volatile than in the 90s, partly due to a lot of new emerging market indices. All right. That was a lot of wording there that I don't know, didn't resonate too well. Fewer markets above their trade highs. They've got some kind of fancy little chart they put together here regarding how many days you've been trading above your 200-day moving average and how many stocks are above their 200-day moving average. The latest percentage of indices above their 200. Okay, I'm going to skip that one. Global rates are ready to loosen. They're bonds with the Fed. They're bonds with the Fed. What is it with its, like, the confusing language today? Extremely high yield correlations probably prevail because of the fog of uncertainty around central bank policy. Yeah, I don't think JPow's discussion will help. We have JPow talking this week. I gave a preview on the main channel. You're welcome to see that. That video is posted. That will be very entertaining. Gold. Oh, yeah, gold was knocking on 2100 this weekend. Let me see what it's doing now. You've got gold sitting at, yeah, 2092. 2092 on gold. Brent's at 83.42, a little higher. You've got the 10-year sitting at 422. And then, of course, Bitcoin over 65. All right. Very well. Now, what else? Let's see how Spirit continues to move here. It's always kind of entertaining to see what happens. Some of these. 13%. So, yeah, still 13. Looks like it's trying to find some stability here. Probably end, what, maybe 10 to 13%? Who knows? JetBlue still enthusiastic, about 4.7% to the upside. Q's up only 7 basis points. So what's dragging the Q's down? Probably Apple. Trade Desk coming down a little bit. Let's go look at AAPL. Yeah, 1.5% on Apple. Domino's Pizza, 37 pips. Cloudflare, still sitting at about $100. Kind of in no man's land right here on Cloudflare. And I wonder if we go to the dollar. I want to see how the dollar's been doing. So, ooh, sitting on a support line for the dollar. I wouldn't be surprised that once rates actually... I mean, I think there's probably... In the near term, if you have a risk of rate cuts getting delayed, the dollar could continue its rally that it's had since the end of the year. So I wouldn't be surprised. You could still actually see some move to the upside in the dollar. We fully unpriced March, but if you keep unpricing, some like when these rate cuts are going to come, then the dollar will actually continue to strengthen. So that'll be interesting. Okay. What else? So the next thing is, oh wow, DWAC's up 11%, right? I love the volatility of it. It's so entertaining to watch. So what else? What else? What else? Well, I think that's pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Okay. Let's now go see what the FT has to talk about this morning. Financial Times talking about the basically $2 billion Apple fine. This, by the way, is the it's worth, I guess, breaking down a little bit more. We touched on it a bit earlier, but they're fining Apple for stifling competition, and it's the first time Apple has been punished for breaching EU law. So that's interesting. I'm gonna write that down really quick. So first time Apple has been punished for breaking EU law. $1.8 billion fine for stifling music streaming competition. How interesting. Yeah. Let's see. Apple will appeal. Third biggest fine in European Commission history. Commission history, and Apple will appeal. Cool. You know, there's only one letter difference in appeal and... Wait, is there? Wait, yeah, there's one extra A. Like, you can't spell appeal without the letters that make Apple. They're almost the same. I don't know why that matters. One letter. All right, so iPhone maker charges 30% fee for all sales through the App Store, basically calling this antitrust. Bloody, bloody, bloody. All right. Next. Let's see here. Germany dismisses Russia's claim that it's preparing to attack. Xi Jinping to resist market pressure to step up stimulus effort. You know, I think that's so interesting. I wonder if they could give us a reason why, because we've known this for a while. Everybody was expecting China to like blow up last spring, and they didn't, in a good way. Like there was supposed to be a lot of stimulus and a lot of market movement. That didn't end up happening. And so a lot of folks are like, okay, like when is the stimulus going to come? And lately it's just been like, it's not. And so a lot of folks are wondering, why is the Chinese Communist Party, when they're facing potential deflationary pressures, are they not stimulating more? And so I'd be curious to see if they give any reason here. The government work report will aim to revive consumer and business confidence. Yeah. But the stimulus proposals are expected to be relatively restrained. Xi Jinping doesn't seem to be panicking or turning to massive stimulus. Xi Jinping sees the current economic wobbles as short-term pain necessary to achieve long-term gains of high-quality developments. Ah, there you go. Okay. So, lower expected stimulus output again. Y per Financial Times. There we go. Gotta build up that longer term, more stable growth, I guess. Darn, you telling me just sending stimmy checks isn't gonna do it? I guess not. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think their GDP is 5% at all. I think you're probably going to be knocking on the door of recession in China. Es no bueno. That does create risks for companies that sell in China. Ironically, Nvidia is a company with 25% exposure to China, and they're, you know, able to make up losses in China elsewhere through the AI explosion, obviously. But other companies like Starbucks, Apple, Tesla, you know, they're feeling the pain of a rough Chinese economy. So, something else to watch. Let's flip since they're about to go to commercial. Yep, 5 minutes left before 6 a.m.
The big question is, in a better environment, could it have basically unlocked more value for the retailer?
Do you think if this deal was to happen, they would go through with closing almost a third of those shops, though? And can you see them leaning in more towards this luxury retail?
Well, they'd already announced, even you know, kind of separate from this deal, 150 store closings, and I don't think that anything is going to change or reverse that. It sounds like they were very, very underperforming stores that barely generated any revenue for the brand altogether. In terms of can Bluemercury and Bloomingdale's solve their problems, the issue is that Bluemercury in particular, while likely high margin and very, very strong from a consumer loyalty standpoint, it's a small format store and it's only going to generate so much in revenue. It's never going to offset the revenue that a larger format department store could be able to generate. They'd have to open a heck of a lot of Bluemercuries to make up for one.
Okay, boring. Don't really care about Macy's. Sorry. Down 18% here on Spirit. Supermicro seems to continue holding on to that 15%. You got Apple here, still 1.5%. 30 minutes, 35-ish minutes to go before the bell. You've got the Qs at 5 bips, and ARM's up 3% in the morning here, as well as Nvidia. I think the Taiwanese market did really well yesterday, with AI especially. So some real serious movements here. in the good old A's of the I's. So I don't think Dell is moving too much this morning. Dell's mostly flat, down 39 bips, which who cares? It was up 31%. Then you've got, how's Meta doing these days? Meta's at $500 hollers. Dang, son. Here, let's go over to I want to look at it in the quarter chart. Oh, wow. When you zoom into this on the 1 quarter chart, where each candle is a quarter. Wow. Isn't that crazy? Crazy. So, crazy moves there by Facebook, Meta. All right, let's try to get some more news here. Let's see here. Super Tuesday coming up. I wonder, when's that recall going to happen for Newsom, Gruesome Newsom? I think that's expected to try to be on the ballot this year. So that would set up for recall probably. Now, let's see, Newsom recall. It's like looking at, no, there's no real update on that. Okay. Then what else? Let's see what El Journal has for us. The Wall Street Journal. JetBlue, Apple. Let's see. The skyrocketing costs driving cheeseburger prices up and restaurant owners out. Yeah, well, that's another thing you're going to find is I think a lot more small businesses just going to continue to get whacked by the pain of, well, basically costs having gone up, labor costs still rising, especially in places like California, but then not having the scale to sort of offset it, which larger companies will have. Okay. Next. Okay. Investors raise money. Raise Macy's buyout bid. Ark House Management and Brigade Capital are now offering to acquire Macy's stock for $24 a share. How's that sucker doing? Macy's. Oh, wow. It's up 14% in the pre-market because of those buyout bets. Someone here says, Baba could be a good deal now, but buy big risks. Okay, so you jump into Baba. Problem with Baba, man, is it feels like a good deal every day. And it's just pain. Yeah, you really got to get that Chinese consumer to make their turnaround. Okay. Wow. All right, let's listen in here.
These business situations that I didn't even realize were happening right in front of me, but I must have been absorbing it because there's so many times I've like brought up in my mind one of those conversations that I had learned from. And so I think I had a very...
Don't care at all.
That does it for us today. Make sure you join us back here tomorrow. Right now it's time for Squawk on the Street.
Good Monday morning. Welcome to Squawk on the Street. I'm Carl Quintanilla with Jim Cramer, David Faber at Post 9 of the New York Stock Exchange. NASDAQ futures stealing some love from the broader markets as we set up for a big stack of news this week. Powell on the Hill, a jobs number, State of the Union, some sell-side conferences. Our roadmap begins with stocks in this ongoing AI-fueled rally. B of A ups its target for the year. Nvidia now the world's third most valuable company. And the NASDAQ looking to build on fresh records.
Plus, as usual, we're keeping an eye on shares of Apple. They're pulling back after a nearly $2 billion EU fine, while two new notes say, hey, don't worry. They suggest an Apple comeback, perhaps, likely. As for Tesla, well, its China struggles continue. Shipments plunging to the lowest level in more than a year.
Let's begin with the markets entering a new week with record highs, fueled once again, Jim, by AI, which seems to be the topic of so many weekend notes last couple of days.
Oh, my, Carl. I mean, just a lot of people want to say that the whole thing's gotten out of control. But let's say you go back a year and you looked at what Nvidia ended up going to be the estimate for 2024. The stock was selling at 12 times earnings a year ago. So we can sit here and bemoan how expensive it was, but it's by far the cheapest in the Mag 7 or Mag 6 if you want to drop, get to Musk. And I think that the problem has always been that when you look back, this thing is so underestimated in terms of what it can make that you don't know how to value it. What are you going to do? Take it to 9 times earnings like it's a bad bank?
Jim, my weekend was characterized by conversations with people who were seemingly involved in the endless construction of data centers.
So you were with losers. That's okay. I was with winners. I was with my kids. You were with losers.
Well, I did spend family time, but
okay.
I'm talking about a meeting on Friday, so that was a work day. A large real estate investor, data centers. Somebody involved in the deal world, in particular on the financing side and advising on those transactions, financing for data centers.
Now, at least it wasn't private credit.
Somebody more in the political realm to a certain extent who's getting incomings from various countries about building data centers.
Okay, so I'm going to tell you.
Because they have access to power that is renewable and
Well, it's not just that. They have cash. You have to remember, the company's blowing money on the AI are companies with the most money in the world. Cash rich. Mega cash rich. Yeah, that's a big deal. Okay, what else? So, let's see here. Mob invades Six Flags? What? Why does this even come up? What else? Argentina. Country risk index falls. Lowest since 2021. Yeah, it's interesting. The Malay movement over there. We got to get like a Malay in California. Clean up our budget. We need somebody who's actually going to make some hard choices. Spend the money better. It's crazy California. Oh well. All right. Let's get some more market news. So, we talked Spirit, we talked JetBlue, we talked about SMCI. They were pretty stable at up 15%. I wonder where they sit right now. Don't I have them here somewhere? Where are they? SMCI. Yep, they're almost at 16% now. And then Spirit Airlines is exactly the opposite, down 16.5%. So we talked about both of those. Touched on the calendar a little bit at the beginning. Very busy week in terms of the calendar with the jobs report coming up. I guess we could look at the projection for the jobs report. And we do also have 5-year break-even inflation moving up again. We're now almost at the highest level. We're like at the second to third highest level of the 5-year break-even inflation read that we've seen in the last 12 months. No bueno. As far as jobs that we're expecting, we're looking for 200,000 jobs this Friday. Last time we got 353,000, so you had a pretty hot January, which is what you had with the CPI numbers as well. Again, part of that could be seasonal adjustments or good, who knows what. You do have earnings coming up as well this week. Earnings that we're looking for. Let's see here. What earnings would we like to look at? Okay. So tomorrow we're looking at CrowdStrike, Target, Ross, Neo, Box, Nordstrom. Then you've got, what else this week? I mean, those are pretty good already. Abercrombie Fitch, that thing's been on us like rampage. Oh, Costco reports this week. How entertaining. Along with DocuSign and Kroger. Fascinating. Broadcom, Victoria's Secret. Oh, a lot of earnings this week. The Target forecast should be pretty interesting. Target, a little more of a consumer discretionary than it is a consumer staple, but obviously sales heavily driven by consumer staples. I did a comparison between Target and Restoration Hardware this weekend on ehack.com that I thought was pretty entertaining. Some people mentioned they really enjoyed that. A little bit of a discussion there on furniture. If you haven't yet seen, also we're doing an event June 21st to 23rd. I think it'll be the biggest finance event of the year. Pretty excited about that. The belief for the event is not to make money. I thought I want to do an event where we could just bring people together who can actually teach wealth building from various different industries. So from an innovation point of view, from a finance point of view, from a real estate investing point of view, all of these basically wealth building industries. So that was where I started with thinking, well, there really doesn't seem to be that. I mean, you've got like venture capital style events, you've got a lot of stock focused style events. You rarely have real estate focused events, but you do. They're a little smaller, and when you do, those are good. But you don't often have all of them kind of together, and so I thought that would be really cool. And so that'll happen in Vegas. Hope you come. As we announce more of the speakers that we're lining up, we'll raise the prices on the tickets. That's just sort of normal what events do. You kind of like tease, and then you release speakers over time. Events are ridiculously expensive to put on, especially if you go do it in Vegas. But it'll be really fun. So hope you come. So let's see here. We talked JetBlue. Okay, what else? European shares paused near record highs after 6 weeks of gains. Treasuries slipped. All right. Blue Owl hires Goldman's Zachary. Okay, I don't really care about that. Snowflake CEO steps aside. Richer than Tim Cook. Wow, really? The CEO who just stepped down from Snowflake. Net worth higher than Tim Cook and the CEO of Microsoft. That's crazy. $3.7 billion fortune. Cook, who's worth about $2 billion, and Nadella, who's not a billionaire yet. Rare for a non-founder in tech to amass such a level of wealth. And he did it by leading Snowflake and ServiceNow through IPO offerings. Wow. Huh. Wild. Very cool. Very cool. Next. What else? Oh, Too soon to celebrate the success of Bidenomics. There's a headline here. America blew almost $2 trillion. Make it stop. The U.S. federal budget seems out of control. Funding spats and debt ceiling standoffs routinely threaten to force defaults and shutdowns. Yeah, we got another one this Friday. Another partial shutdown risk this Friday. Wow. Crazy. All right. What else? All right. So shut it down. Shut the government down. Yeah, there are a lot of people believing that. Lots and lots of people. Yeah, a little. Let's see here. Okay, I hope you can get into AI with HouseHack, the company, when it goes public. Well, I mean, I've said this a million times before. Every company is going to use AI. It's what makes you more efficient as a company, right? You know, like you can use AI in property management and deal acquisition. We already use it in deal acquisition. We used AI in deal acquisition before AI was like a hot thing. You know, when we announced HouseHack in 2022, late like September 22, I was talking about how we use AI to find deals. And like vision learning has been a tool for a very long period of time. It just became so popular in the spring, and you know now everybody uses AI. But good question. But yeah, it's very interesting. So media talking about how Kellogg has raised prices 28%. You know, usually what they do is they compare to 2019. If you compare to 2019, that's probably true. Kellogg. Let's see here. Let's see. I'll just look, 28%. Oh, yeah. Cereal prices have risen 28% over the last 4 years, per The Guardian. So it's just a comparison back to 2019. Alexander says, I have a feeling the economy is not that strong and the Fed knows it. Maybe. Spending continues. I don't know if it's debt or what it is. Budget was created out of thin air, says someone here. Yeah, pretty much. Just another transitory wave of inflation. Yeah, we did talk about Bitcoin, 100K. Cereal has popped. You know, it's always funny going into, I mean, I just get the same cereal all the time, but when my cereal's not available, it's a perfect paradox of choice, but when my cereal's not available, I go in there, I'm like, oh my God, where do I even begin to choose? I'll start here. And it's just, you have to like walk up and down the aisle like 17 times to figure out what you want. It's annoying. You just have my cereal in stock. Not that hard. I'll pay more for it. Wait, that's contributing to inflation. Somebody here says the AI trend won't last. Well, I don't know about that. Like, maybe the AI valuations, but AI will continue to be used. In fact, there was a really great piece by JP Morgan basically talking about how they use AI to analyze their customers' treasury allocations and portfolios. And then they recommend using AI different sets of, what's it called? Laddered treasury portfolios using AI. I think that's kind of cool. So, all right, let's see. AI is the next evolution in computing. Yeah, I think that's one way to look at it. I mean, again, neural nets have been around for a very long period of time. The question is, can neural nets now start training themselves actually effectively? One place you might be able to test that out would be like an FSD12, right? Where Tesla's FSD12 is neural net trained, and you know it's good, but it's always sort of like a 2 steps forward, 1 step back kind of thing with FSD, which is frustrating. But yeah, I mean, computer learning has come a very far way, and it'll continue to in our lifetimes. You know, whether it's all going to be in the next year, I don't think so. But it'll be something that just continues. Ooh, Apple 10 minutes ago announces new MacBook Airs with latest M3 chip. That's so funny. I was just going to buy a MacBook Air last week. I'm glad I didn't, because and these are available March 8th. Oh wow, that's cool. M3, the lean mean M3 machine is what they're calling it. Wow, cheapies. For $10.99, you can get a 13-inch M3. $10.99, baby. That's pretty good. Pretty good. You know, their chips, the M1s, they're M1s, M2s, and otherwise the M series, they're very good. And I think it's interesting how they're trying to basically offset the bad news with this bad press news on what's it called? The $1.8 billion fine. They're trying to offset that with this product announcement, essentially. Not a bad idea. Good job, Apple. The perfect timing. Go Apple. All right, let's listen in here for a moment.
Okay, the
Build an
Ray-Bans.
ecosystem around generative AI with the App Store. You know, a lot of it comes from the edge, by the way. So it's Dell servers at the AI servers at the edge, not in the data center itself that can send things to the phone. It could be a very important moment.
Okay.
But it's still on the come, Jim, and we don't know.
The
We don't know
Ray-Bans
at
right now
all.
are $300, but I'm telling you that's not
They
the real
are-
price.
no, of course they have to cost more.
That's the list price.
They have to cost
that's
more,
the list
Jim.
price, for heaven's sake. You pay that price, you're a sucker.
I'm right, you're wrong.
He's like, that's what people, well-off people, they look at that price and they say, oh, that's the price.
$300.
How about
Yeah.
Vertiv here?
By the way, that's not a bad price.
I left
but
Vertiv
they're
out.
not
That's
the
a
same
data
as
center
your
way.
typical Ray-Bans.
You don't want to do Equinix, you do Vertiv.
This is
That's
when he
cheaper.
completely ignores it.
I have to. You're just so negative. Go be with your friends, your data
Your
friends.
weekend server friends, the server farm friends. We'll take a break. Take a look at the pre-market. A lot of calls to get to this morning. Busy on the sell side. Norfolk Southern, Bros, Disney, Lilly, Dash, and Lyft. Futures under a little pressure coming off of a solid week last week. Back in a moment.
The cloud makes it possible to
Ooh, what's the Disney? What's going on at Diz? Oh, Diz is up about 1%. Let's try to find out what is going on here. Let's see here. Let me find out. If I type in Diz, I should be able to find out. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it does not. But I will look. And we will find out. I don't know, does anybody still like Disney? It's so sad because I, as a kid, I feel like I grew up on Disney, and it feels like robbed of what the company could have been. I don't know. Is that a bad way to look at it? It's just feels like I can't talk nicely about Disney or go to Disney without it being like woke anymore. It's kind of sad. It's amazing also how powerful the sort of like the anti-woke movement is. A lot of folks are like, "Oh, this will blow over. It always blows over." I don't know, man. Let's see here. Let's run a poll. Actually, that would be very interesting. We've got 12 minutes to go for the bell. And we've already done quite a bit of catching up on the market news. So let's now try finding out our own news. So what we're going to do is we're going to run a poll. And we're going to say, regarding Disney, are you... How should we say it? Do you still support Disney? Yes. No. Yes, but way less. Okay. The poll is running. Give a vote. I also recognized why some people don't vote in the polls. I realized it, and it makes sense to me. Because if you listen to YouTube on your TV, I don't even think it's possible to vote in the poll. I'm not sure. But yeah, there's some devices where I don't even think you can engage, even if you wanted to. Like, I was driving Jack back home from the airport, and he turned on YouTube on the little screen in the back of the Tesla, and I don't think you can really engage with the videos there. And so I got to kind of thinking about it, like, he probably wants to smash the like button, but he can't. So he's not going to. And I don't really blame that. Oh well. We'll see how the poll goes here. Does sanctimonious desanctify Disney? My wife and kids love Disney. We have been to Disney World twice in the last 2 years. Just ignore the views and enjoy the experience. Yeah. It's a good point. Because they're communist. Yeah, I've always enjoyed going to like Disneyland and Disney World as a kid. I mean, I've been to Disney World. I've been to Disneyland Paris. I've been to Disneyland California Adventure. It's always nice to going there, like just messing around. Although I was just at Islands of Adventure, and that was fun. Their competitor. Disney has lost its innocence. Oh, that's a good way to put it. Disney is like the uncle that you loved as a kid, but grew up and realized he couch surfs and can't hold a steady job. Aww. Even Frozen and Moana were great movies. Why did they stop making movies like that? I agree. I feel like Frozen was like one of the last real killers. First 5 years Disney. Bambi, Dumbo, Pinocchio, Snow White. That's a good point. It's like how in the first years were they cranking out such great content? It's a good point. Disney's lost its magic. All right. Disney has been Shiite for a while. I don't think you actually mean Shiite. I know what you mean. Yeah, it's interesting. Right now we're at, I think the poll's going to stay mostly stable, so I'm just going to end it. So with almost 1,000 votes here, we've got 54% say they don't support Disney. That's really substantial. So more than half of folks are like, I'm just done with Disney. The people who do support Disney, we've only got 18% yes on still support Disney. 26% say yes, but less. Wow. Rip Diz. All right. So is Spirit Airlines going to go bankrupt? Well, they're down 14.8. Yeah, nothing's really moving much anymore here in pre-mark. Oh, well. What do you got here? Salesforce down 80 bips. Tesla down 173. Neo's down 3. Spirit down 140. Trade Desk down 1.8. Well, Qs are slightly negative now. Look at that. Near all-time highs there. Alrighty then. Let's find out what else they're saying.
As they look into 2024 and beyond, this is a company that, guys, 3 years ago, the debt level was so high on America, and people were saying, "What are you doing? A pandemic obviously had an impact here." Robert Isom's done a very nice job. Him and his team have done a very nice job of steadily bringing down the debt level. Now, they still got a ways to go. They're nowhere close to their competitors, but that's been a focus, and they've been very effective about utilizing greater utilization of their biggest hubs in the U.S. when you're talking about Dallas as well as Charlotte.
Hey, Phil, State of the Union this week. At what point does President Biden have to declare that he's with the unions? We don't let the Chinese cheap, a Volvo kind of China in drag, so to speak. We don't let that in. Or do we favor ESG and going all electric, including having the Chinese cars in? I mean, isn't this like the push comes to shove issue, ESG versus unions?
Well, I'll tell you this much. Look, he's probably going to make some kind of comment regarding EVs and the push for EVs, although we know that decision regarding CAFE standards, that's coming out within the next several weeks. The bigger question is, what is going to be done with regard to Chinese vehicles? You guys saw me in Chile. I am not kidding. The people down there are like buyers anywhere. You give them a chance, any buyers, anywhere. I don't care if it's the U.S., Chile, Europe, Asia. You give them a chance to buy a comparable vehicle for $4,000 or $6,000 less than what they would have to pay with another brand. They will go with the cheaper brand. And I know people will sit there and say, well, you sell cheap, you get cheap. The quality is much better. They just have a cost advantage. That's going to have to be addressed in Washington at some point when the Chinese decide that they are going to sell or try to sell here in the United States.
The Chilean reporting, Phil, it opened my eyes. If they know it, I mean, it doesn't matter what part. You're absolutely right. That was I think the nature of the piece. I've been thinking a lot about that. Was it doesn't matter where you go. The Chinese will win unless you keep them out.
Right. And then that becomes a question, Jim. If they set up manufacturing in Mexico, then you've got a whole sticky wicket in terms of saying, we're going to not allow in Chinese vehicles, but we will allow in BMWs or Nissans built in Mexico.
Phil, talk soon later on this morning. Our Phil LeBeau. Kramer's Mad Dash and the opening bell coming up. Take another look at futures. We're back in a moment.
Yeah, so I want to throw a screen here up. I just posted it on eHack. I thought this was very interesting. So let's go to my favorite, eHack.com. I hope y'all like eHack. It's, I think you kind of look at it like once a day and get a good scroll in there. You get a really good summary of kind of everything that's going on. It's not like we're running ads on there to where it matters how much you click on it. I think just make it practical in your life or have it in a routine. I kind of think, when you go to the bathroom, the number twos, or think eHack has always been sort of my joke. And then you can kind of just scroll through. It's fun. Like even all this talk that we had this weekend, which was pretty pretty neat, and getting into various different pricing power talk and otherwise. Very fascinating. But anyway, look right here. I want you to see this chart in particular. The fewest contributors to the S&P 500 since the dot-com era. So take a look at this. If you look at where we sit right now, just 28.2% of stocks are outperforming the S&P 500 are outperforming over 1 year. So in other words, your growth in the S&P 500 is basically led by like 1 in 4 stocks, and the other 3 and 4 just kind of suck. So it's a really bizarre stock market where it's really a winner take most situation here. Kind of rough. So it's either you're in the winner take most, which would be like your AI or your Magnificent Six, or you're underperforming, or you're just in the index. So it's like index is your baseline, and then you're either outperforming or underperforming. Crazy. What else? Wow, a lot of people still talking about Disney here. Only thing that would make eHack better would be an economic calendar. I like that idea. I think it's a very good idea. I think, there'd be a way to incorporate that. Maybe even, I hate having, like, other pages. I think probably just the way to do it would be just like a little, like, box at the top where you just have a table of, like, what to expect this week or whatever. But the problem is, like, when do you unpin that? So, like, maybe you pin the eco calendar. I don't know. Because the other thing that I usually do is I just write down the catalysts in the actual flow. But I haven't quite figured that out yet. So we'll give it some thought. So it's definitely playing around with the ideas here. I just like the simplicity of it. So, yeah, no. See, I'm not doing this. And I understand it's very normal, like making news articles clickable and adding comments. I don't really care to add comments because then you have to deal with spam, and spam belongs in a can. You can click on the articles. See? They're little links. You could click on the little links to the posts, and that way you could share them if you want. But yeah, I mean, like, clicking is such a waste. The only reason companies made clicks is for ads. It's not for a better user experience. Like, if you could just see the whole article, you could just casually kind of scroll. And it's all dated by time anyway, so the relevance is your scroll. So, yeah. All right, bell's coming up.
Now, I happen to be a Dollar Tree fan. I went right by my Dollar General this weekend because it's just not functional. They don't have enough inventory. Whereas my Dollar Tree is chock full.
No kidding.
Yeah.
All right.
You get the Peeps and stuff. Peeps, you know what a Peep is?
Don't spend a lot of time.
Do you know what a Peep is?
A Peep? Yeah, I do know what a Peep is.
What is it?
It's that thing. It's that candy.
Nice.
They sell them during,
You know what? Yeah.
Like they have little Easter ones,
I
right?
should never second guess you. That whole data thing was that was a scream. You're
Yes.
more pop culture than I realize.
Thank you.
Let's get the opening bell here in the CNBC Real-Time Exchange. And the big board, steel producer Metallus celebrating its name and ticker change at the NASDAQ. Healthcare Solutions Company TrueBridge also celebrating a name and a ticker change.
Wow. Okay. I happen to like the steel stocks very much, but that's because of the IRA. Boy, the IRA spending is really starting to come in. And what I'm shocked at is it's taking so long, but this is the year.
All right, that looked like it was about 40% green, so mostly red. We'll see how things are actually behaving here in the pre-market. John Deere's green, ARM's up 3.3, Tesla's down 2. Apple sitting at 1.7 to the downside. You've got Meta down here 0.5%. And you've got, let's see here. What else? New York Community Bank, how are they doing? Oh, there goes Meta. Oh, there's a little bit of pain happening here. New York Community Bank's down about 2.25%. SMCI is still moving. Apple's trying to go green candlestick. Meta, for some reason, just dropped a little chunk here. And then if I go MSFT, also getting a red candle. Disney, you've got about a little bit of a red candle with about a 0.5% down there. Coinbase trying to move up, but 4.5%, but also getting that red candlestick. Quite a few red candles there. $2 on Matterport. Enphase was green, just turned red on that green candle. Nvidia is really the only thing that's trying to pop right now. Well, then again, DWAC's up 10%. New York Community Bank's only up 2% now. Dell's down about 1.9. Supermicro's popping up too. And Macy's on the acquisition talk. ARM's up 4.3. Wow. Your AI continues to push. Crazy, especially with that lockup coming up. But as they say, market can be irrational longer. Spirit Airlines is only down 10% right now, which sounds like bad. I mean, I know that sounds bad to say, but it was down as much as 18% just before the opening bell. So something to watch as well. Check out MicroStrategy. Yeah, MicroStrategy's up 11%. Look at MicroStrategy here on the week chart. Absolutely explosive here. How did MicroStrategy just explode like this? I thought it would have been a lot more gradual with the rise in Bitcoin. I think people forgot about MicroStrategy here. It just literally exploded. In the last 3 weeks, it's almost, well, it's certainly doubled. But depending on where you bought it, it's about 3x in 3 weeks. What the hell? Wow. What did they do? Let's go with MicroStrategy. So, MicroStrategy, I don't really see particular news here. Oh, we had earnings. When were the earnings? 2.6. All right. What ifs? All right. Apple's down about 2%. And Nvidia, yeah, even Nvidia is trying to drop a little bit right here. Wild. So let's see here. I'm Christopher Walken here. What is this all about? Let's see here. Yeah, no, we know that MicroStrategy. We know they hold Bitcoin. That's not a surprise. That's obvious. That's like the elementary explanation. That's old news. But look at this run that I'm talking about here. You've had a substantial run on on Bitcoin since the end of last year, right? You've gone from, 24,000 at the end of last year to basically a double by February. Yes, we know we had another 50% gain here, but you had essentially a double from October to February, and then you added 50%, right? And so what I'm saying here is you had, what is this? This is from, where was their bottom? I guess here's October. Yeah, so October to February, you had a 50% run, right? So, like, I guess people don't understand. So I just have to draw it out. It's very simple. But I always think it's funny when people are like, Kevin, MicroStrategy owns Bitcoin. No shit. You think I live under a rock? Good Lord. My point is very simple. Is that if we look at the closing price of MicroStrategy on, let's pick a date here. Closing price 1020. Okay? 1020 MicroStrategy. We're going to go with, this is 351. Okay? Then you look at the closing price on 27. 27 closing price is 495. Okay? That is a move. 495 divided by 351. That is a move of 41%. During that same period of time, Bitcoin went from 1020, that'd be about 28K to 27. That's about right here. Okay. Take a, it's about roughly about 44K. So what do we have there? I guess that's not quite a double, but let's see here. 28%. That's a 57% move. So look at the divergence there, right? Okay. So now we're going to go from that same date to where we are now, which is 66K. And then this will be the now. Okay. And so we got 66K on BTC. And then MicroStrategy in this period, that right period, goes from 495 to 1250. 1250 divided by 495. You 2.5x. So 2.5x versus Bitcoin's move of 50%. That's the difference. Okay, so this is not like perfectly aligned the way I drew this here. But the point is, over on the left side, MicroStrategy underperforms Bitcoin by 16 points. Then it outperforms by 200 points. So it's minus 16% versus 200%. That's the point. Is that the difference in magnitude is insane. You would have expected to align more as a proxy of Bitcoin. And so that volatility is insane. And I think it's very, very interesting. All right. So what else? So Spirit Airlines is only down about 8.8%. You've got Macy's down 16. Up 16. MicroStrategy's up 16. Super Micro's up 16. All these 16s here. Nvidia's up 2.9. Costco's up another %. Let's see here. Intel's trying to keep up. Q's down though. How much is Apple really getting hit here? Apple's getting hit by about 2%. Tesla 3%. New York Community Bank went negative. Oh, wow. That's actually surprising. So, New York, Kevin, MicroStrategy owns Bitcoin. Jesus Christ. How many times do I have to say it? Is it not clear that I understand MicroStrategy owns Bitcoin? Is that not clear? We literally just broke down that from a Bitcoin move, MicroStrategy underperformed by 16 basis points by 16 points compared to what Bitcoin's price movement was between October 20th and February 20th, and then outperformed by 200% compared to Bitcoin. It's literally compared to Bitcoin. Is it that hard? Like, I don't understand. Whatever. So, it's stupid. So now people are just trolling. So okay, let's go on. So MicroStrategy, look at Super Micro. Now 17.5%. It keeps going. It keeps going. Microsoft's actually getting left behind here. So Microsoft's ceilinged. I think they ceilinged at about 420 is where they ceilinged. 420 is where Microsoft ceilinged. And Snowflake's actually down 2.8 right now. Google, why is Google down? I think is Google getting hit by the Apple antitrust kind of overflow that maybe they might be next? Investor, let's see here. This has to do with the Google Play Store. No. I don't know why Google's getting hit this hard. Let me see here. Yeah, Google's down like 3%. I mean, I know they got hit with the whole like woke AI thing, but wow. Nvidia's up now 3.5%. Wild. Wild. Uber's up 1%. Coinbase up 6.5%. Wow. Pretty impressive. What's AMD doing? I mean, I don't appreciate the spam, but... Oh, AMD's up 4% as well. Nice. Let's listen in here for a moment what we got.
See you at 24. Here you go, Arkhouse.
Okay, because he started about 6 weeks ago.
Do your best.
Google.
Well, because you know,
Arkhouse, Draft House, whatever. Make a movie theater chain. I don't care.
Waffle
take
House,
it.
okay?
Waffle House.
Waffle House.
Arkhouse, Draft House. Arkhouse, Draft House, Waffle House. I like
Okay.
that. I like that.
Nashville, Huntsville, and Asheville. Those are the 3 hottest.
Oh, okay. Update, you may have been here because you heard Google is sunsetting Gmail this year. It's a fast-spreading hoax online. The hoax purports to show an email from Google saying that the journey of Gmail is coming to a close. Gmail isn't going anywhere. Most will have defaulted to the new Gmail view a long time ago. The company is sunsetting the basic HTML view. What's this? Starting... I wonder what the difference is. This has to do with a views difference. Oh, the HTML version lacks features such as chat, spell checker, search filters, keyboard shortcuts, and rich formatting. Oh, okay. As long as they don't make me have those stupid boxes where they like may give you like 3 tabs because I hate clicking. Doesn't matter to me. That's funny. Yeah, I'll leave it to markets to pull that off. Anyway. All right, folks. I gotta push the button. Get to the course member live stream. Even though I'm a licensed financial advisor, real estate broker, and becoming a stockbroker, this video is neither personalized financial advice nor real estate advice for you. It is not tax, legal, or otherwise personalized advice tailored to you. This video provides generalized perspective, information, and commentary. Any third-party content I show should not be deemed endorsed by me. This video is not and shall never be deemed reasonably sufficient information for the purpose of evaluating a security or investment decision. Any links or promoted products are either paid affiliations or products or services which we may benefit from. I personally operate and actively manage ETF and hold long positions in various securities, potentially including those mentioned in this video. However, I have no relationship to any issuers other than HouseHack, nor am I presently acting as a market maker. Look at that. Nvidia 850 straight up. See you all in the next one. Bye.